Xbox is a kind god. Where is the friends and family Game Pass plan? Here's how the Xbox Showcase made history. Let's discuss. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Xbox Ready, the YouTube channel that is dedicated to all things Xbox. My bread and butter here is that I come on and I talk about the latest Xbox news, but I try to do other things as well, unboxings, reviews, I bring guests on. So if any of that stuff appeals to you, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. And as a quick reminder, I have links to buy all sorts of Xbox stuff below this video, and I'm also on Instagram at State of Ray and on Threads. I'm trying to do some threading, y'all. But let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen, because we gotta clear something up. Apparently, there's some confusion about this new tier of Game Pass that's going to be coming out on September 14th, Game Pass Core. Now, I thought it was pretty straightforward, but I see a lot of people online and in comments, and I'm seeing articles of people being like, what is the deal? This is so confusing, this new tier of Game Pass, what's included, what's not. So as a reminder, Game Pass Core is the new tier of Game Pass. It's going to be replacing Xbox Live Gold. And all you need to know is that it's pretty much the same. The only difference is that there's not going to be games with gold. You're not going to be able to claim games that not a lot of people care about every month. Instead, they were replacing it with just straight up like Game Pass Lite access. There's going to be 25 games that you can access as part of your Game Pass Core membership. So to review, there's going to be 3 tiers of Game Pass. Let me go over them again real quick. Game Pass Core, that is essentially Xbox Live. You'll get to play games online, you will get certain discounts like you did with Xbox Live Gold, and you'll get like a little glimpse into the Game Pass library. When this thing launches, you'll get access to 25 games, and then they'll add games 2 to 3 times a year is what they were saying. After that, pretty much nothing has changed. Game Pass console and PC Game Pass is the same. You subscribe and you get access to all the new day one editions, whether they be first party or third party, plus like hundreds of other titles. Game Pass Ultimate, again, it's gonna be pretty much the same. You get access to the Game Pass library, you get online play, you get access to a certain number of EA games through EA Play, you get access to cloud gaming, and you get access to Game Pass perks. Again, the only difference starting September 14th is that you're not going to get monthly games with gold titles. Now, the thing that people are pointing out when it comes to this restructuring is that you get online play with Game Pass Core, you get online play with Game Pass Ultimate, but you do not get online play with the middle tier, Game Pass Console. And the question is, should they just release online capability, multiplayer capabilities for all tiers of Game Pass? I don't know, that's an interesting question. Me personally, I'm trying to think of it from Xbox's perspective. And what I think they're trying to do is funnel more people into Game Pass Ultimate. By converting all the Xbox Live subscribers to Game Pass Core, they're essentially giving their customer base a taste of Game Pass. So they're like, okay, you like the stuff that you're seeing on the Game Pass Core library, maybe consider upgrading to have access to the full Game Pass library. But if you want to keep your ability to play games online, consider upgrading to Game Pass Ultimate, which will give you everything. Is that the right decision? Only time will tell. And again, I thought it was pretty straightforward because not much is really changing. Game Pass is staying the same, minus like a little bump in the price. The only thing that is changing is the name of Xbox Live Gold to Game Pass Core. And with that name change, there's not going to be any gold stuff anymore. No games with gold. A lot of people I see are pointing out like, well, what is the incentive to have just standard Game Pass versus Game Pass Core? Well, the incentive is you get access to a lot more games. And if you're not someone who plays a lot of multiplayer games, or the multiplayer games you do play are free to play, then you don't really need the multiplayer capabilities that come with Core or Ultimate. And I know a lot of people are gonna miss games with gold, but guys, we gotta be honest with ourselves. The quality of the games that were being offered it wasn't good anymore. And months ago, they stopped giving away 360 titles with games with gold. And now a lot of people are saying, well, I'm losing value because they're not giving me free games anymore, and I have to keep my subscription up in order to have access to those games they were given. That's been the case for a long time. Any Xbox One game that you claimed through Games with Gold, you had to have your subscription active. That's how it's been since day one, since Xbox games were added to the program. Now, this move, in my opinion, is definitely not a home run, but I thought it was a solid move. At the very least, it just adds more cohesiveness with the Xbox brand. There's no Xbox Live, Game Pass Ultimate. It's just going to be Game Pass. And then the 3 tiers. And I don't know if it works this way, but it kind of gives them a free boost in terms of Game Pass subscriber numbers. So when in doubt, guys, just remember, Game Pass Core, pretty much the same as Xbox Live. That's all you need to know. It's even the same price. It's $10 a month or $60 for the year. And that's not the only change coming to Game Pass. For anyone who was wondering where the friends and family plan is for Game Pass, I have a little bit of an update for you. Microsoft has confirmed the preview that they've been running for the friends and family plan will officially come to an end next month on August 15th. The Friends and Family Plan is a new tier of Game Pass that Xbox is working on that will give 5 people access to Game Pass Ultimate, and it was hovering around like $25 or the equivalent of that for whatever your region is. That is a steal. If I got 4 of my buddies and we all split that plan 5 ways, we would all just be paying $5 for Game Pass Ultimate. According to a Microsoft spokesperson, we're excited about how the Friends and Family Plan has resonated with gamers, and we'll be evaluating the learnings to help create an offer that we can bring to more players worldwide in the future. All active members of the Friends and Family Plan will receive an Xbox Game Pass offer as a thank you for participating and a way to ensure that they can continue to play the games they love after the preview ends. Now that the preview is over, the question is, obviously, what are they going to do next with the Friends and Family Plan? It's like, okay, they did their testing, they got their data, are they going to go live with it, and if so, when? And to be completely honest, I'm not sure. I just don't know how it would fit into this new Game Pass tiered system that they're introducing. If it ever officially rolled out, it definitely wouldn't be $25 a month for 5 people. Considering that Game Pass Ultimate is $17 a month, it's like the math ain't mathin'. They would lose, I feel like, a lot of money if they just went live with a $25 5 people Game Pass Ultimate price. But on the other end, it would be really cool for Xbox to come out and be like, hey, listen, we know we raised the price on Game Pass, on consoles, on games, but we have this new affordable way to enjoy all of our games. It's the Friends and Family Plan. Bam, $25 a month. You can have up to 5 people on the plan. Xbox seems to put a lot of importance on just sheer numbers of people playing their game. And in my personal opinion, introducing the Friends and Family Plan would be a great way to boost those numbers. The trade-off, obviously, is that, okay, 5 people on a $25 plan inherently are less valuable than just one person having Game Pass Ultimate and contributing $17 a month. No matter what happens when the preview ends next month, I just hope that we get more definitive news on where we're at with the Friends and Family Game Pass plan. Now, as you probably heard maybe on this channel last week, Xbox took a huge step forward in terms of its bid to acquire Activision Blizzard. A judge ruled in favor of Microsoft during a really important hearing between them and the FTC. It essentially gives Microsoft the ability to pretty much close this deal. A huge part of swaying the judge's decision in favor of Microsoft was all of these deals that they've been signing with these other platform holders. I promise Nintendo, we'll sign a 10-year contract to have Call of Duty on your consoles. Same thing with you, Nvidia, so you can put Call of Duty on GeForce Now. Same thing with, I don't think they did it with Steam, but they did it with a number of other cloud gaming services like Boostroid and a couple of others. So the judge was like, dope, if this deal goes through, Call of Duty will be on more platforms versus less. The only people who didn't have a 10-year deal or any sort of deal at all was Sony. Rumor has it that Microsoft and leadership at Xbox offered them a similar sort of contract, but PlayStation was like, no, we don't want it. We just want to block this deal. Which I gotta say, that makes sense. No shame on Sony. But after the judge's ruling in favor of Microsoft for this deal, it was looking like, oh man, maybe Sony should have locked down that contract, locked down that deal sooner. Some people are like, oh, now they're not gonna get a deal at all. But the judge ruled in favor of Microsoft with the understanding that they were gonna keep Call of Duty on PlayStation consoles in some capacity. It wasn't like Xbox was gonna be like, all right, well, you didn't have the deal, so no Call of Duty for you. All of that changed as of Sunday because Xbox is a kind god, or no, I should say that Microsoft and Sony have agreed to a 10-year deal to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation consoles, officially. Sony themselves have confirmed this. They say while Microsoft's initial announcement doesn't mention 10 years for Call of Duty on PlayStation, Carrie Perez, head of global communications at Xbox, confirmed the 10-year commitment to The Verge. Okay, so I guess maybe that initial contract didn't mention 10 years. I find that hard to believe though, since all of the other deals were structured around a 10-year timeline. But in a little bit of a twist, Tom Warren over at The Verge confirmed that it's just with Call of Duty, not other Activision Blizzard IP. He said Microsoft has confirmed to The Verge that Sony's 10-year Call of Duty deal is limited to Call of Duty. Microsoft originally offered to keep existing Activision titles on Sony, including future versions of current Activision games on PlayStation until the end of 2027. So that leaves a door open for pretty much anything under the Activision umbrella to be exclusive to Xbox. Call of Duty is going to remain multi-platform, but if we're to believe Tom Warren, any other Activision published game could potentially be Xbox exclusive. That includes any Crash Bandicoot game, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games, Guitar Hero, Spyro, Prototype. The list goes on and on and on. I guess the old school Spider-Man games are no longer on the table. But yeah, that could be a potentially sneaky move on Xbox's part. Yeah, the contract says Call of Duty. Didn't say anything about like when we revived Guitar Hero. Now, of course, that could potentially mess up any other future acquisition they did, because they just spent the whole past couple of weeks being like, no, we don't want to make things exclusive. It's not about exclusivity. So if they turned around and made the other Activision games and Blizzard games exclusive to Xbox, I feel like the court of public opinion wouldn't be too kind to them. But I will say the court of public opinion was very kind to this one Xbox move. I'm talking about the Xbox Showcase. Now, I was there at this most recent Xbox Bethesda Showcase, Starfield Direct, Xbox Fan Fest, all of that. And it just felt like even though fans were coming off the disastrous launch of Redfall, a very dry 2022, the energy of that show, being there live, was awesome. Everyone was excited, everyone had like a good, positive vibe. And after the showcase, the media perception was generally pretty positive. There's always going to be people out there like, oh, that show sucked, that show was garbage. But I feel like generally people were like, that was a good show. And apparently that translated directly into views. Xbox claims that it was the highest viewed show ever, tracking nearly 92 million viewers. That accounts for a nearly 38% increase versus the show that they did last year. And that's pretty dang good. I would be pretty happy with 92 million views. I probably could retire if this channel all of a sudden got 92 million views. Xbox released a statement saying, "We'd like to thank all the teams involved, from the studios themselves, who worked tirelessly to bring their games to the show, many of them showing their projects off for the very first time, to the many people who worked behind the scenes to help make the show a success. But most of all, we'd like to thank you for bringing your curiosity, your excitement, and your support. Xbox's mission is to bring the joy of gaming to everyone, no matter where they are. And your joy at seeing the future of Xbox helps us know we're on the right path." The Xbox Showcase was the start, arguably, of the Xbox comeback. So how do they keep it rolling? For me personally, Xbox's continued success relies on a couple of things. Number one, the quality of the day one Game Pass editions, whether they be first party or third party, need to be good, consistently good. They're very up and down. Sometimes third party stuff will come to Game Pass day one and I'm like, this is awesome. Wolong Fallen Dynasty was one of those games. Same thing with first party stuff. Hi-Fi Rush, amazing day one edition. But I'm playing Exoprimal right now, which was supposed to be the big Game Pass game for the month of July, and I'm like, this is fine. I'm not. First of all, it really frustrated the hell out of me that I had to make a Capcom ID, and then they were like, you gotta link it to your Xbox account, and they sent me an email saying, congratulations, you linked your ID to your Xbox account. You can go ahead and play this game. And then I couldn't play the game, so that made me really mad. And then of course we swing back to first party stuff. Hi-Fi Rush was awesome, Redfall, not so much. It was like the exact opposite of awesome. So they need to get consistent wins across the board with their day one Game Pass editions. Hopefully in September when Starfield launches, that is the beginning of like, okay, consistent day one Game Pass bangers. Another thing on my list would be keep up the good shows. I really liked Developer Direct earlier this year in January, but God, that was already 6 months ago. I very much enjoyed the Xbox Bethesda Showcase. The idea at Xbox Showcase, I was like, this is fine. The content itself was good, I feel, but the overall structure of it, I was like, I don't know. I would much prefer it if they just did more developer directs. Keep that dialogue with us going, especially now that Major Nelson is retired. There's kind of a question of like, oh, where are we gonna get like our direct official Xbox kind of pipeline? Thinking through it now, it's like it all just revolves around the games, man. That's how they can keep this going, just like by releasing a good steady stream of games like we were promised at the beginning of this generation. I know in practice game development, there's a lot that goes on. It's a very hard process, and the more developers I meet, the more I'm like, okay, I do not envy you. So yeah, hopefully they can capitalize on the momentum that they got from the Xbox showcase. It definitely seems like they're trending upwards with, you know, the release of Starfield and Motorsport just around the corner, and it's looking like they're gonna close this Activision Blizzard deal, so that would put them even more on the upward trajectory. I'm hoping that the waiting is over and that the Xbox comeback, we are just like officially in it. Anyways, guys, that's all the news I have for today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready, and we'll see you in the next video.